All right, so welcome to another deep dive, you guys. This one I think is going to be pretty interesting. Um, I have to admit, when we first got the source material for this episode, I wasn't sure what to think.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a curveball.
A little bit. So we got a legal text, right, about like discrediting witnesses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this religious text about Jacob and Esau, you know, that whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how are we going to tie these two together?
Right. Where's the connection?
Yeah.
It's pretty different on the surface.
Totally. But now that we've had some time to like really think about it and dig in, I think I see where this is going.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
It is. And I think, the common thread here, the more I think about it, is really about character.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like with this legal text,
Yeah.
I was reading it and it's basically like a handbook for lawyers on how to like take down a witness, right? Break down their credibility.
Yeah, how to undermine their testimony.
Yeah. And one of the things that they really focus on is like their past, you know, their history.
Their character.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding those flaws, those inconsistencies, those moments where they might have, lied or acted unethically, and using that to cast doubt on everything they're saying.
Right.
Like, if this person has a history of dishonesty, can we really trust them now? It's a powerful tactic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like you see this all the time on those, like courtroom dramas.
Oh, yeah.
Where they dig up someone's like old arrest record.
Right. Or like a shady business deal from years ago.
Exactly.
And it's like, boom, their credibility just takes a nosedive.
Totally. It makes the whole thing so much more dramatic. So, okay, so I get that part. I mean, I think everyone kind of intuitively understands that, right?
Right.
Our past actions can affect how people see us. But so how does this whole Jacob and Esau thing fit into all of this? I got to admit, I'm a little fuzzy on the details of that story. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah. No worries. It's a long and winding story.
Yeah.
But the gist of it, at least for our purposes here, is that Jacob is kind of famous for being, well, a bit of a deceiver.
Oh, yeah. He was a trickster.
Total trickster.
Yeah.
He actually, tricks his own brother Esau out of his birthright.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So not exactly a stellar character, at least at the beginning.
Not starting off on the best foot.
No, not really. And this is where it gets interesting. Later in life, he has this crazy, intense encounter with an angel.
Oh, yeah, I remember that part.
Which, it's often interpreted as him kind of wrestling with his own conscience.
Oh, wow, like a literal wrestling match.
Yeah, some people see it that way.
That's a pretty intense way to think about it.
Right, like facing those inner demons head on.
Yeah.
And it's during this struggle, this intense moment, that Jacob gets a new name. He becomes Israel.
Right.
Which, you could think of it as him shedding his old identity, the deceitful Jacob, and becoming something new, a better version of himself.
Wow. Okay, so like a complete transformation.
Yeah, like a fresh start. And what's really emphasized in the religious text is that this transformation is rooted in repentance and honesty.
Okay, so like owning up to your past,
Yeah.
making amends for the bad stuff.
Exactly. It's about facing those truths about yourself, even the ugly ones.
That's powerful.
It is.
So, okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Yeah.
So we've got the lawyer trying to discredit the witness by exposing their true character.
Yep.
And then we've got Jacob, who's wrestling with his past, his deceitful nature, and ultimately transforming into a new person.
And both scenarios are about revealing, the real person underneath.
Yes. Like, whether we like it or not, our character is going to come out.
Right. And the religious text takes this idea even further.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it basically says that God, before he even considers our requests, our prayers, he's looking at our character.
So it's not just about what we say or do. It's about who we are at our core.
Exactly. It's like the text literally says, every Christian must realize that whenever we come before God in prayers, his initial focus is on our character, not the complaints or petitions that we bring.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
It's a pretty profound statement.
It really is.
It's like, before you come asking for favors, I'm checking your credentials.
Wow, that's a powerful way to put it.
I know, right? And, it makes you think, doesn't it, about how our character, our inner selves, they really matter.
He does.
In every aspect of our lives.
So it's not just about, like, winning a court case. It's about how we live our lives.
Absolutely. It's about our relationships, our work, our interactions with everyone around us, our character. It's the foundation for everything.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like, if we try to build something, anything, on a shaky foundation, it's not going to last.
Exactly. And just like a lawyer might use character evidence to sway a jury, our character, it influences how others perceive us, how they interact with us.
Right.
Think about it. If someone has a reputation for being, I don't know, honest and trustworthy, we're naturally going to be more inclined to believe them, to value their opinions.
For sure. It's like our character is always kind of on display.
Always. Whether we're conscious of it or not.
That's a bit scary, actually, when you think about it.
A little bit. But it's also kind of empowering.
Oh, how so?
Well, because it means we have the power to change that perception.
Oh, right. By changing our character.
Exactly. And that's what's so amazing about Jacob's story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it shows us that transformation is possible, even if we've made some pretty big mistakes in the past.
Right.
He goes from, being this deceiver, this manipulator, to being this, patriarch of faith. It's a remarkable turnaround.
Totally. So, okay, wait, back up a little. You mentioned something about a new name, a new identity. What was that about?
Oh, right. Yeah. So when Jacob becomes Israel, it's not just a name change, right? It symbolizes this profound shift in his identity. And this idea of a new name representing a new you, it's incredibly powerful. And it's not just limited to, biblical stories.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. We see it all the time in, everyday life.
Okay, yeah. Give me an example.
Okay, so think about someone who, I don't know, overcomes addiction or leaves a toxic relationship. They're essentially shedding their old self, the one that was defined by those negative experiences.
Right, and embracing a new way of being.
Exactly. It's like they're writing a new chapter in their story with a new name, a new identity.
That's a beautiful way to think about it.
It is, isn't it?
It really is. It's like rewriting your own story.
Precisely. And it all starts with, being honest with ourselves about who we are, where we've been, and where we want to go.
It's like taking ownership of our story, both the good and the bad.
Exactly. And then making a conscious choice to change, to grow, to become a better version of ourselves.
It's not always easy, though, is it?
No, not at all. It takes courage and honesty and a lot of hard work.
But I guess, if Jacob can do it, anyone can.
Right. And the potential rewards are immense.
So, to kind of wrap things up here, what I'm hearing from this deep dive is that character, it really matters.
It does, more than we often realize, I think.
Yeah. It affects our relationships, our
Right.
credibility,
Yeah.
how we see ourselves, and ultimately, how fulfilling our lives are.
Absolutely.
And even if we've messed up in the past, there's always hope for a fresh start, right?
Always. There's
And-
always a chance to change, to grow, to write a new chapter in our story.
That's actually really encouraging.
It is.
It is. And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to be thinking about this a lot more now,
We too.
examining my own life a little more closely.
Yeah. Taking stock of those character traits, good and bad.
Right.
And, it might be helpful to think about it this way. If you had to tell your life story to a jury, present your case for who you are as a person, what parts would you be eager to highlight? And which chapters would you be, a little more hesitant to share?
That's a great question. And I think, honestly, it's in those chapters, the ones we try to hide, that we often find the greatest potential for growth.
Absolutely. Because by facing those truths, even the uncomfortable ones, that we can truly start to change.
So for everyone listening, think about your own story. What truths, once revealed, might set you free to write a new and better one?
That's something worth pondering for sure.
It is. And that's a wrap for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourselves.
And keep those source materials coming. We love to see what you're thinking about.
Absolutely. All right. See you next time.
See you.